But I understand this is a bit of a dark video. Today we're going to be reacting to The Mafia is Killing Italian Football. This was one of the more highly requested videos from a lot of people, and I'm interested in seeing what's going on with this. Now, we all know that there's corruption in everything. There's corruption even in esports. There's corruption in regular sports. We all know about match fixing, and then we also know how bad things like gambling have gotten bad, you know, with sports. It's disgusting, really. Like, I think, you know, casual gambling's cool, and I'm not about to go on a rant about gambling, but the amount of gambling in sports now is just ridiculous, right? But I'm excited for this video, getting to see a little bit more of the darker side of football, because all we've watched is a lot of happiness and, you know, emotional downsides and whatever, you know, cultural things. This is going to be a first for me, so I'm excited. But let's go. Let's see what they're doing.
On September 4th, 2024, two friends left a gym in Milan, Italy. They get into this car, pull out, then hit the brakes. Inside, there's a struggle. After a few moments, one man climbs out with a gunshot wound. He's Andrea Beretta. He leads the hardcore fan group of Inter Milan, one of Italy's best football clubs. The other man is dead, stabbed 21 times.
Whoa!
He's Antonio Bellocco, heir to one of the most powerful families in the Italian Mafia. Italian football has a mafia problem. It's always been lurking behind the scenes, but now it's in the stands.
What?
For a long time that things were heading this way in Italian football. And I think the deeper question then is, how is it that this very small group of people were able to take such control?
Whoa! All right, wait a minute. This is crazy. Okay. Code of silence.
Now, you've probably seen The Sopranos, or Goodfellas, or The Godfather.
Yep.
They're all stories of American offshoots of the original mafia group, the Cosa Nostra. The group originated in rural Sicily during the 1800s. It began as gangs of men hired to protect farmers and cattle herders from bandits. But it evolved into a network of clans that extorted businesses for money. They pledged oaths of loyalty, followed a code of silence, and eliminated anyone that crossed them.
Yep. Sounds like mafia stuff.
Around the same time, two similar mafia groups emerged. The Camorra in Campania and the 'Ndrangheta in Calabria. These groups infiltrated nearly every business in their territories. A 2015 study found that in two regions in
Mafia's group linked to increased poverty across southern Italy. Yeah, 2015?
A 2015 study found that in two regions in southern Italy, the mafia was likely responsible for a 20% fall in their GDPs.
Damn.
And probably responsible for more in Sicily, Campania, and Calabria. Eventually, the mafia groups expanded into Italy's major cities, where they competed for territory. Even clans within the groups fought each other. In the 1980s, warring Cosa Nostra clans left over 1,000 people dead, including judges, journalists, and civilians. It led to the arrests of hundreds of mafia members.
The largest trial in Italian history began today in a Palermo, Sicily courtroom.
The authorities, they say, are fighting more than the mafia. They're fighting tradition.
It is actually insane being an American and really like we see all the media about this kind of stuff, but seeing like genuinely how real deal this stuff was. We all hear about like Al Capone and all the other mafia things that have happened in America, but when you really get down to the nitty gritty of it, it's really wild, man.
These wars weakened the Cosa Nostra, but gave an opportunity to the 'Ndrangheta. The group was notoriously violent, but when it saw how violence attracted police attention, it switched to a more subtle strategy.
Okay.
It used control of key ports to smuggle in drugs, especially cocaine, and establish lucrative trafficking routes into Europe. Then the 'Ndrangheta laundered this drug money through legitimate businesses, everything from hotels to restaurants to convenience stores, then sent some of the profits back to the main group, who invested in more businesses. Rinse and repeat. The 'Ndrangheta used this model to spread farther than any mafia group ever dreamed of. It established power bases in major cities, especially Milan. Then the 'Ndrangheta set up franchises abroad, eventually in at least 80 countries, including Canada.
The takedown and dismantling of one of the most well-known and notorious mafia crime families,
Colombia.
An alleged member of the 'Ndrangheta
That makes
criminal
sense.
organization was found in the city of Medellin.
Even Australia.
51 organised crime clans, 14 confirmed as 'Ndrangheta, some taking their orders from the godfathers in Italy.
The
That is-
'Ndrangheta are now one of the
what?
biggest criminal organizations in the world, making an estimated $60 billion a year, and it's always looking for more.
This just sounds like fiction. This is insane, man. I really didn't know it ran this deep. Wow. This sounds like something I would see in a movie or in reading a book. What?
I'm sure you've noticed professional football is flush with money. Well,
Yeah.
the Mafia did too. So this story took a ton of research, took me all over the internet, and one thing I've noticed since starting SP is that I'm getting
Wait,
a
how
ton
long
of
is
those,
that?
spam texts and spam emails. Thankfully, I'm managing my risk thanks to
No disrespect. This is just a minute and a half long ad. No disrespect. No disrespect.
Now I'll take you back to the sports part of this story. Italians love football. They're
Yep.
some of the most passionate fans in the world, and the atmosphere at an Italian football match is unlike anywhere else. But for as
Good
long as the
Lord.
Italians have loved football, the Mafia has profited from it. The Mafia has ensnared some star players. Think of Diego Maradona hanging out with the Camorra when he played for Napoli. The Mafia are also behind Italy's countless match-rigging scandals.
Of course they are.
In the 1990s and 2000s, the Mafia even started to own some football clubs. Camorra clans owned 2 clubs in Campania, and 'Ndrangheta clans owned at least 4 in Calabria. These were small clubs the Mafia owned primarily to garner prestige and loyalty with the people in their territory.
Of course.
But
They make themselves look good, and then, they're still doing the extremely shady business, but they're making themselves look good, kind of.
But as the 'Ndrangheta grew into an international criminal organization, their ambition grew too. Europe's top football clubs
Oh,
were generating
man.
hundreds of millions of dollars a year. And 2 were in Italy's richest city and 'Ndrangheta power base, Milan. AC Milan and Inter Milan are very successful, very
Yep.
popular, and they're also bitter rivals that happen to share a stadium, the San Siro.
All right, that's funny.
To own these clubs would be far too brazen for the 'Ndrangheta, but the Mafia group could tap into the millions of dollars that swirl around the clubs. Walk towards the San Siro and you'll see cash everywhere. There's merchandise for sale, beer for sale, food, parking, and of course, tickets, juicy targets for the 'Ndrangheta. But the stadium is the territory of 2 powerful organizations, the Ultras.
Okay, yeah, we know our ultras.
If football is a religion, the most devout Orthodox people of this religion are the ultras.
Martino spends time with Ultras all over the world, but he doesn't call himself a journalist.
I much more try and dance around the idea of football anthropologist.
Ultras are responsible for the songs, banners, and flares at every match. But in Italy,
Wait, I'm sorry. I want to just see what this image was. Where is it? There's like players in the stand. This is crazy, bro. How do you get something like this in there? Genuinely, how do you set something like this up?
and flares at every match. But in Italy, Ultras stand for much more than a football club.
Ultras originally were a way of kind of revendicating the city-state identity of Italy, which existed before its unification in the 1860s and 70s. Ultras became a way of being hyper-proud and hyper-identified with your local traditions and customs.
That hyper-identity can lead to some extraordinary things. Ultras groups give their members a sense of identity, a sense of belonging. They even act as community organizations in some cases. Ultras groups are also crucial in standing up for fans' interests with the club, and not always in the way clubs appreciate.
It's not been uncommon historically for Ultras to come and demand a conversation with the coach.
What?
But the Ultras also have a dark side. Some Ultras groups are known for violence, use racist language, adopt radical politics, and some even get involved in crime. Milan's Ultras comprise dozens of different groups, but around 2022, they were roughly organized under two banners. AC Milan's were known as the Curva Sud, and Inter's were known as the Curva Nord.
I really wonder what players think about Ultras, because it's got to be a little weird, right? When you're a player and you love this sport, you love what you do, but then you've got all this like kind of like super crazy, like extreme stuff like happening around you, man. I know there are some that love it, But it's got to be wild, right?
Each was led by a powerful boss. So the Ndrangheta's plan was simple. Take control of the Ultras, then take control of the San Siro. For years, the boss of Inter's Ultras was Vittorio Boiocchi. He was nicknamed the Uncle and was beloved by his fellow Ultras, but he had also served 26 years in prison for drug trafficking, robbery, and kidnapping. As head of Inter's Ultras, Boiocchi added corruption. He got the club to give him thousands of free tickets, but instead of passing them on to his members, Boiocchi set up a network of scalpers to sell them for a huge profit.
Oh my God, I hate
Pocketed the money
scalpers.
himself. Around
Wow.
1,000 euros a month, he once bragged, demonstrating just how easy it was for an Ultras boss to make money. But suddenly, in 2022, Boiocchi was killed. His lieutenants, including Andrea Beretta, then worked to elect Antonio Bellocco, a member of a prominent 'Ndrangheta clan. And just like that, the Mafia were in.
This is just so depressing, I'm not gonna lie. It's so sad when you get out something as beautiful as football, and there's always something there to do something dark and evil to make it, you know, worse. And you know, because I love the concept of the Ultras too. It's just a shame that there's always going to be like that one thing in there that's always doing something illegal or crazy or, you know, related to this. I mean, the guy was getting free tickets and pocketing cash by scalping people, and we all know how bad scalping people is in this day and age. It's awful. It sucks, man. I've been scalped so many times when I wanted to buy something. All of it was bought up and then just resold. I hated it, man. Oh, dude, this sucks.
First, Bellocco and Beretta demanded more free tickets. When Inter made the finals of the UEFA Champions League tournament in 2023, Bellocco's lieutenants reportedly threatened to cause problems unless the club coughed up 200 more tickets.
What?
The club obliged. The Inter Ultras even colluded with the leader of AC Milan's Ultras, their rival, to expand the ticket scheme. Next, they seized control of the parking, food stalls, and merchandise shops around the stadium, earning them millions of euros that they reinvested into more criminal enterprises. In just 2 years, the men turned the San Siro, the heart of Italian football, into the 'Ndrangheta's newest franchise.
We can't have anything nice. Every time there's a beautiful thing that emerges
That's what I was just
from this
saying, man.
complicated, culturally rich place, this evil, cancerous little of a mafia institution comes in and compromises all of it.
But like in many mafia stories, this one ends with betrayal. Bellocco and Beretta didn't want to share this empire. Tensions grew between them until suddenly they reached a boiling point. Once Beretta killed Bellocco, the Italian police saw a chance to crack down on Italy's Ultras. In June, 19 Ultras were found guilty of crimes, including murder, extortion, and criminal association with the 'Ndrangheta. Beretta is not only guilty of murdering Bellocco, but he admitted to ordering the hit on Boiocchi too.
What?
Cooperating with
Damn, so he was just doing everything against everybody above him. Wow, that's insane.
police, he received only a 10-year sentence. The leader of AC Milan's Ultras will serve 10 years too. Inter's manager and one player served a one-game suspension for having contact with some of these Ultras. But the club
he probably didn't have a
received
choice.
€50,000 each for, quote, the effect the scandal had on their reputation.
Only 50,000?
Meanwhile, Italian police are investigating Ultras groups in several Italian cities, and they have plenty of reasons to. In 2018, police discovered the 'Ndrangheta had infiltrated Juventus Ultras. In 2019, the leader of Lazio's Ultras was assassinated, and there continue to be allegations that some Ultras groups of Napoli are linked to the Camorra. The scandal in Milan may be the last straw. It's put Italian Ultra groups in a bind. On the one hand, they have the Mafia, who just keep proving how easy it is to infiltrate them.
Power corrupts. These people have completely compromised on the values of what I see as being an Ultras, and they spoiled it for the rest of us.
And on the other hand, they have the clubs, who are more than eager to silence the Ultras groups once and for all. AC Milan.
So, wow. So this is where I guess a lot of the disdain for a lot of ultra groups comes from. Does it originate from this? Because if so, I understand it. because you don't want this level of corruption and everything. But I mean, this is just depressing to honestly hear. I'm not gonna lie.
Milan and Inter are reportedly rejecting hundreds of season ticket requests by Ultras members.
It's a hidden win, and that scandal actually serves very convenient to disempower fans and turn this into a much easier space for them to profit off of without active criticism. Now the critical voice is gone. And if it does speak up, you go, what are you talking about? You're a bunch of drug dealer mobsters.
So scenes like these, the kind that once defined Italian football, may be the latest victim of the Mafia. But they won't be the last.
Okay, thanks for watching. We're Search Party. We cover sports and geopolitics.
I mean, you know, a lot of you have told me that a lot of things related to Ultras are always related to something political or culturally or something, but it is still crazy when we get a chance to actually look at it and hear about what's going on behind the scenes for a lot of different things. And this is honestly kind of depressing because it's like what he said, you know, we can't have anything nice. You've always got somebody that's gonna muck it up for everybody else. Now you can't be like what an Ultras used to be back in those days, because there's always this fear of corruption or working with the Mafia or something like that. You know, you can't have anything nice. You just can't have anything nice in this world, man. It's so unfortunate. Are there any scandals with Maradona in relation, since he had some relationships with some of the Mafia members? Also, you know, honestly, it clicked in my head. I really don't know what teams that Maradona played for outside of the national team for Argentina, but it's really, it doesn't change my opinion on him or anything or his character, because obviously I don't literally know anything about his situation with the Italian Mafia. But it is just very unfortunate though to hear that all this kind of stuff does go on behind the scenes. It's not surprising, it's just disappointing. It's like there's always got to be somebody doing something that they have no business doing and just messing it up. You know, you can't have something with passion without having somebody trying to corrupt that passion. It's just like you said, power corrupts. Power will always corrupt the wrong person. You know, you put power in the hands of the wrong person, it'll corrupt them. It's like when you go to the dark side in Star Wars, that power corrupts you literally in the most metaphorical and literal sense, right? That's just disappointing to hear, man. Thanks for suggesting this video to me, guys. A little bit more depressing than what we're usually reacting to on this channel, but it is good to know and not be ignorant of what goes down within the sport outside of all of the you know, the beauty of it, the sunshine and rainbows of it, you know, and all of the glory that comes with a lot of this sport overall. I am now depressed, so thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like on it and sub to the channel. And if you actually no, I'll say this, we're gonna do a poll later this Sunday, which should be tomorrow after posting this, so you'll be able to post the suggestions there, and we're gonna be able to catch up on some more things that some of you have suggested but I have probably missed because there have literally been thousands of you commenting. Anyway, thanks for watching. This video, boy Jay. I'll catch you later with another reaction video to football. Hope you have a great day. Peace.